I'm He-Meyer with He-Meyer Roofing and Exterior, and today we're going to talk about roof inspections and why it's important to do a roof inspection. So we have a few reasons that it's important. One, it's kind of like a car. When you buy a car and maintainly, you want to get it checked out every year. You want to take it to the shop and have it checked. Your home's the same way. It's actually, it's usually your highest investment that you do have. So if you don't have your roof inspected, at least every few years or so, a lot of problems can occur that you don't know about that can end up costing you a lot of money. Another big thing for people that just bought a house, if I had a nickel for every time that somebody's called and bought a house and had issues because the home inspector didn't do their job, I'd probably be rich. We're gonna go ahead and get up here and we're gonna look at a few things and kind of talk you through what a home inspection is. Or a roof inspection, sorry. We have drip edge installed on this house, and from the looks of it, everywhere that we've found drip edge, so that's always a good thing. Next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look for underlayment. So as far as we can see here, there's no underlayment on it. Normally you want the underlayment to come at least down over the drip edge, that way the water will flow over it and over the drip edge into the gutter. Another thing we'll do is we're going to check to see how many layers. Obviously we can easily tell that there's one layer on this, so that's a good thing. We don't want a whole bunch of layers on a roof, because more layers, there's a lot more weight on the home. Next thing we're going to do, we want to check the approximate year age of the shingle, so what kind of shingle it is, and we want to push this just to where it gets just right snug, and right snug, it's about a 20-year 3-tab shingle, so that's good. So we're going to get up here and we're going to check out a few more things. Next thing we want to look at, we want to look around the home to see if there's any trees that are hanging on the roof that we can warn them about, because although we like trees, we like the shade, it keeps the roof a little bit cooler, but we can't have trees touching onto our roof or dead trees that are going to fall on a roof. But so far at this house, it looks like there's no trees around, which is good, so they don't have to worry about it, no trees or anything. Next thing, we'll kind of look at the overall condition of the shingles. The shingles ourselves have aged just fine. It's probably, it's probably a good 15 years old, the roof, but 10 to 15 years old, but it's got a lot of hail damage over it. So if you can look, you can see a lot of spots where hail's hit it pretty hard. It's already down through the fiberglass matting, so that's going to be something they're going to have to discuss with the insurance agent, because that is going to jeopardize the integrity of this roof. So we'll make a note and take pictures and show that to the homeowner. Another good thing, another sign of hail that we're going to see is on this ventilation, we're going to see a lot of dents and dings. There's a lot of little bitty dings here from the hail that's hit, so it's a good indication that it's been through a hailstorm. The next thing we want to check, we're going to check the sealant. So to check the sealant, we like to go through and pull on the shingles just to see if they're sealed down pretty good, and these all have been, they're all pretty good actually. I've kind of pulled a couple up just to kind of look at the nail patterns, but all in all, it's a pretty good sealant. So, and a good sealant's important because as soon as the wind comes through, if they're not sealed down, we're gonna see these little missing tabs all over the yard, which we'll seal this one back down once we're done, but that's kind of what occurs. We're going to check out a few of these just to kind of see if they did a good job nailing, which there is an issue here. Up here we got some high nails where they didn't get sank all the way, which is pretty common. We need to kind of have these nailed back down a little tighter. Other than that, they seem to be nailed in the right spot. We'll check the nail pattern just to make sure that they're right where they want to be. So you don't want them to be nailed too high, because what happens is a lot of people come in and they'll nail them way up here because they get sloppy and fast, and next thing you know, of course, the wind comes, and these shingles are designed, these right here are designed to have 4 nails in each shingle. When I say 4, they're actually supposed to have 8. So the reason why there's 8 is there's 4 that'll be nailed here, 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 and at the ends, both ends in the middle, and then the next shingle will be nailing, which basically this shingle is held by this shingle. So these nails here are holding these, and that's what gives you 8 nails and keeps your roof on a lot better. You'll find a lot of people don't quite nail where they're supposed to be, but so other than that, that all looks good. We got a couple issues, like I said, with the nails being unsank where they're supposed to be, but it's not a big deal. We can fix those pretty easy. It's not all over. We want to look in the valleys and stuff to make sure that they're not tore up or broke. You can kind of see in here. I'd imagine if there's no underlayment on this roof that there's probably no metal in the valley, there's probably no ice and water, but we want to make sure the condition of the roof is still good. No one stepped in the valleys and broke them. There's no debris or anything stuck in the valleys that'll hold it here and block it up where water backs up and starts to cause a leak. So that actually looks pretty good in this valley. All that looks good. Next thing we'll check is the flashings. So we'll go on this side over here and we'll check our flashings and anything sticking out of the roof. This flashing here looks like it may have just, somebody might have come up here and resealed it. It's pretty, we'll reseal it before we leave because it's got a lot of, it's pretty loose. So as you can see there, they probably had a leak going on. The water was probably running right down into that vent and causing issues. So that's something we want to be aware of. They dry rot all the time. So that causes a lot of damage you might not always see as well. We want to make sure that any of these exposed nails, as far as the flashing and even in this ventilation we'll go over in a minute, is sealed up. So you want these to be sealed up with silicone, that way there's no future leaks and stuff. Just anything we can do to prevent a leak. And over here, we've got some satellites. Satellites are probably a horrible idea to have put on your roof. I know roofers don't really enjoy them because it is a chance for a leak, you know. A lot of times they use these rubber seals and gum and everything like that to, you know there's nothing actually probably right there that's keeping it from leaking. And this satellite's obviously gone, so it's not being used, so we can seal it up for now, but if they ever replace the roof, then we'll do away with it. And this one, of course, they'll probably most likely want put back, but you want to make sure these are all sealed up nice, that way all around it, that way there's no leaks there. So that's another good one. We've got another pipe flashing here, and we got the same thing going on where this one here is probably the same way. Just kind of notice that there's a gap there where water was probably just running down in here, running right inside. Of course, these haven't been sealed, so we want to pay attention to that and get those sealed up. Make a note to tell the homeowner, that way we can get that taken care of. One more pipe flashing here we're going to look at, and this is kind of an odd one, which this one truly looks like it's been replaced at one time. It looks like there was an issue with it where they replaced it, but they didn't quite put it in there right. As you can see here, they nailed the face nail here. They've tarred all around it, you know, I'm sure it was leaking, or they tore up the shingles trying to replace it. They didn't get this one. This needs to go underneath here. properly flashed. That's kind of an incorrect flashing. If water was to come in there, you know, we got a big gaping hole underneath this, so we want to be closed off as much as possible. So we'd like these shingles to be over here, and water to run off a lot better. And we'll probably, this one's not as bad sealed because it's been replaced, but we'll seal all the nails and everything. The last thing we want to look at here is ventilation on the roof. So this roof has it's a aluminum ridge vent, which is not my favorite, but ridge vent is good, but it's not quite as good as you know, some of our new modern plastics that we have. Solid plastic ridge vent seems to let out a lot more air as far as hot air, but these are sufficient, except for the fact is aluminum expands and contracts, expands and contracts, and expands and contracts with hot and cold. So you'll notice with a lot of these that these nails will be worked out in every direction, and as you can see they're loose, and this is just like I mean, it's got these weep holes, but it's kind of like pretty easy for water to get in there. None of those are sealed, so we want to make a note, take a picture, show the homeowner, and kind of note that in the inspection. So I think that does it for all up here. We don't have a chimney to check, so normally with a chimney we'll check the flashings the same way. We don't want to see a chimney with a bunch of tar all over it because it's improperly flashed. So we'll get down and we'll get in the attic and we'll do a little bit more checking. Now we're in the attic and we want to inspect that it has proper ventilation. So normally it's pretty visual. Sometimes you can't always see if it's coming in the soffits, but lucky with this one we can see that it has a lot of light coming through, so that's a good sign. There's no little foam baffle deals that'll kind of carry the air past the insulation, but you can see it. So we'll kind of look over here. This right here is it's an infrared camera. It's called the FLIR 3. So it's pretty handy. You can kind of pick up little differences. So we don't really see a whole lot of cool air coming in there though. So that's kind of issue. So we'll check around here. We'll look around. The great thing about this is things with a naked eye that you can't see, this thing will see. So we'll look around to see any cooler spots. A lot of cooler spots would be an indication of moisture, which could obviously cause mold. You can see our ventilation up here. You can see the difference. Obviously, you can see it's cut open here, but there's not a lot of difference here. Let's see what our temperature difference is from in here to there. We'll kind of see. So we got about probably a good 4 or 5 degree difference, which is good. So that means that hole's open. We're getting a lot of ventilation from it. Over here now you can see a whole open spot. I don't know if you can see, but that whole area is open. So it's reading right at 93, 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty awesome ventilation. So it's coming in, it's going out. When we talked about earlier, so you can kind of see here, this right here is pointing towards the ridge vent, and it's a little damp. So, which that tells me that's 108 degrees. This right here is 135. That's an indication of moisture. So we wouldn't be able to see that with our eyes. If we had a leak or something like that, it'd be pretty hard to actually see it. But here we can actually kind of see that moisture. So that's kind of what makes this device it's a state of the art. It's handy. Awesome. Well, it's hot in here. It's actually about 120 some degrees right now, 133. So we're gonna get out of here. That looks good. Everything looks good in here. Could use a little more ventilation on the ends. Other than that, we don't look too bad. We'll walk around here a little bit more later. But other than that, we're good. We're gonna get out of here real quick and get some fresh air. That should be about what you should expect out of a roof inspection. So if you have any questions, you feel free to give us a call and we'll be free to give you a free inspection. And do us a favor, like our page, comment, and we are giving away 4 tickets to the Phelps County Fair. So whenever it is in August, I believe. We got 4 tickets that you can take your family. And for, of course, the runner-up, we're going to do a couple tumbler cups. So we appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day.